What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. This is the Galaxy Tab S7 FE. Now, the price of this is actually pretty high. You would think with it not having like crazy amazing specs, it'd be a little bit on the cheaper side, but this is actually fairly expensive. So this is the 64 gig version, and it goes for retail $529.99. You can get it also up to 256 gigs of storage for $680. There's also a 128 for $599. Also, something to know about this 64 gig version is that it only has 4 gigabytes of RAM. If you get one of the higher storage mounts, have it be 128 or above, you're gonna get 6 gigabytes of RAM. So just saying that alone, just using this for a little bit, I would probably tell you to get the 128 and above, just because of the storage thing, and then also more RAM overall. Now, this does come with a micro SD card expansion, so you can add up to 1 terabyte via micro SD card, which is awesome. This display is huge. It's a 12.4 inch display. It's an LCD display, so it's not going to be OLED, but with that said, it's actually really nice. I'm very happy with this display overall. It looks, again, fantastic. Very happy with it. Something else to know, the battery is 10,090 milliamps, so you do get a good size battery on this. It does come with an S Pen, and then also inside of the box you do get a USB-C charging cable and a charging brick. And there you go, that's the charging brick, and then the USB-C cable's right under here. And then the other thing is you get a little ejector tool to pop out your micro SD card. It does have a metal body, so it does feel premium all the way around. The weight of it actually isn't too bad. You get 2 cameras on the back, the Samsung logo. There it is right there. Sound is by AKG. You get stereo speakers. You get 1 speaker at the bottom, or top I should say, and then the other one at the bottom along with USB-C. Power button and volume buttons. And I didn't get it, but it does come with the little adapter at the bottom so you can connect a Samsung keyboard. It does run Android 11 and One UI 3.1 currently at the time of making this video. So if you're used to the One UI software, you're gonna be very familiar with this one. It does have the Google feed all the way over to the left on the home screen. And you can see the performance is pretty good in here. You know, I'll click on something so we can read an article. I'll just go into this WWE Stars article. You can see the website loaded up fairly fast. So that's good. You got your quick toggles right here. Doesn't matter where you load them down. Top, left or right or middle, wherever you swipe down is where they're gonna come down, which is pretty nice. I do like that. You get the same kind of settings in here on your home screens that you would expect. You can change the home screen layout to home and app screens, or home screens only if you're coming from an iPhone and you want everything to be on the home screens. Change your grid, change your app screen grid. You have your show apps button if you want to show that. Lock your home screen layout if you're always moving around your icons. Add new apps to home screen. I meant to turn that on earlier. I didn't, but yeah, there you guys go. One thing I would recommend if you do get this tablet, and I'm going to make a video on this anyway about like things you should do when you set up this tablet, is you should move over your home button, your back button, and the recent app buttons over to the right or the left, depending upon which orientation you have, because in the middle it's a little bit of a reach. Whereas if it's on the right or the left, depending upon what hand you use more predominantly, it's gonna be a little bit more comfortable. Another thing to know is this does not have a fingerprint sensor. It's not underneath the display. It's not anywhere else on here. You only get face unlock and put in a pattern or a code or something. That's gonna be the only ways you're gonna be able to unlock this tablet. So performance-wise, this doesn't have the latest, Snapdragon processor. In fact, the processor is an octa-core processor, but again, it's kind of like a mid-tier. We'll run the Geekbench on here, which I'm not a huge Geekbench guy on this, but just to give you an idea what it will get. There you go with your score: 785 on the single core, 2596 on the multi-core. Now, like I said, this display is absolutely humongous. So you have an S Pen, you can use an S Pen. If you're used to the S Pen on here, you're gonna be able to do all the S Pen things that you're used to, from coloring to AR Doodle, translating stuff, live messages, screen writes, Smart Select, view notes, create a note. And I have to say, with this large display, when I go on here, it is very comfortable and writes very nicely. Whoops, I'm on marker. Let me put something on there. I was on eraser. So like writing my name is beautiful. It feels really, really nice and smooth. Like this S Pen. It's very, very nice. Writes really, really good. So I'm very impressed with writing with the S Pen on here. So I think if you're looking to get a tablet that has an S Pen, I think this isn't a bad way to go. It's got a big, huge tablet, so it writes really, really nice. Going back into the S Pen real quick, if you wanted to, you can also do something else such as Screen Write, where it basically just automatically takes a screenshot for you, and then you can write on the screen to tell whoever is using it to look at that, whatever you're trying to tell them. But it's very nice. I would say the S Pen, if you wanted an S Pen with a tablet, but you didn't want to spend, whatever, $1,000 on an iPad or something like that, this one works really, really well. We have this huge display, 12.4 inches, and you can do some fun stuff on here. You can multi-window. You can watch a YouTube video on one and surf the web with the other. Or you can pull in a third window. Maybe I want to look at the Google Play Store to see what all the hot new apps are on there. I'm able to do that. I can even make this bigger or smaller. Same thing over here. I can drag this and make those windows bigger, or drag this over, and maybe I just want drag this up too. Oh, let's go right there. Maybe I just want that window to completely take over, and I'm watching a video over here. Bring up some Greggles TV. Turn my volume down because this is going to be loud. He actually has really nice speakers. So I got my video going. Got my Google Play Store, multitasking very easily, downloading apps, looking at apps, doing that kind of stuff. So very good for multitasking, multi-window, whatever you want to call it. And overall, the display looks really, really nice. I'm going to go back here just for a second and let you see this in full screen. So let's get rid of that. There we go. All right, there we go. Beautiful display. Does get nice and bright. I only have it at about 50% brightness currently at the time of making this video. And you probably won't be able to see it, but it does get very, very bright. So if you're in a bright environment or a dark environment, you can get this really to whatever you want. And even at that medium brightness to 30% brightness, it's still a nice and bright tablet overall. So I'm very impressed with this screen. Even though it's LCD, again, it still looks really, really good. Very, very impressed with the tablet overall with the screen. Loading up the Epidemic website. I'm just going to play some music here so you can get an idea of what sounds like for the speakers here.
Down, but it is not purple today. Came a long way from
So overall, really nice volume and good bass. I'm very happy with the speakers as well. One of the cool things about Samsung tablets are they have DeX built right in. DeX is pretty much a desktop operating system right on your tablet, and it's on your phones too, but you can run it natively on the tablet. You don't have to hook it up to a monitor or anything. So if you hooked up a keyboard and a mouse to this, you can really make this a true desktop operating system when you're on here. Let me just close that. You don't need to see how much I love the S Pen. So it looks kind of similar to a Windows machine. So you have your dock at the bottom with your apps, so you can open these up. You can see all these are pretty much just opening up on top of each other. So when I'm in here, I can drag these windows around. If I had a mouse, it'd probably be even easier to do this. And you can resize the window. There you go, it makes it smaller. And this is real true multitasking. So if you resize these perfectly, you could definitely do some fun stuff on there. You can hit the home button and all those things go away. You can hit your apps button and think of this as your all programs button on your Windows computer if you want to do that. And like I said, you got your dock down here with all your time and your battery life and all that stuff down here. You can take screenshots. Very, very useful to be in this environment. So if you're looking for a fairly cheap desktop experience, this isn't the only tablet that does it. That has all their tablets do this basically, but all the higher end tablets, mid to higher end tablets do it. It's awesome. It's basically another desktop interface, but just that, a desktop interface. So if you love being productive and you want to hook up a mouse would be amazing on this. I don't have a mouse hooked up to it obviously currently, but mouse keyboard combo on this would be absolutely amazing with Bluetooth or however you have it hooked up. So definitely very cool that this tablet has it and can run it fairly nice. I kind of spoke about it earlier, but if you're used to the One UI software, it has basically what you would expect from the sound notifications and the regular notifications, your display settings. Change your wallpapers, your home screens, your lock screens, your biometrics. Like I said earlier, you only have facial recognition. It works pretty good. The camera's up there and that's how it uses it. If you go into advanced features, you have some things on here such as you can call and text on other devices if they are compatible. Continue apps on other devices. You have Samsung Dex. You can turn that on and off right here as well. You can go into quick share and share some of your apps, or files I should say. Multi-window for all apps if you want. You can show apps in landscape or pin your favorite apps on the side here. You got Bixby routines, motions, and gestures. So, it has some nice little tweaks and goodies built into the software. Overall snappiness of this it's pretty good. Like I said kind of earlier, you can tell that it's not a super high-end processor or super high-end thing. There is a slight lag to it. I'm so used to using my Galaxy Z Fold 3 or other high-end phones from Samsung and other manufacturers, and there's just, again, it looks pretty good right here what I'm doing, but I'm just so used to using some of those other ones that you can just notice some of the lagginess to this is it's kind of there, and it has a 60 hertz display. So if you are unhappy with that, you're going to get a 60 hertz display. But in a grand scheme of performance with this, it's pretty darn good for just using this for about a day. And using this tablet, who is this for? I would be very, very easy to recommend this to someone that wants to watch YouTube videos or just Netflix or any of that kind of stuff on here. I think you're going to love it. It's a very nice media machine overall because the speakers are nice. The overall screen is pretty nice. The performance is good enough or nice. So overall, I think you're going to be happy with using this definitely as a media machine. And media also includes going to websites, and reading the newspaper. Go to the New York Times. There you go. You want to read the New York Times, you can come on here and read the newspaper or whatever. So it's a nice, huge display. The display is absolutely humongous. Now it's definitely needs some kind of stand or something like that. So if you buy a case with this, get something where it will stand up, like a little kickstand or something, because this thing is massive, very, very massive. The build quality is really, really nice. There's really not, I came into this thinking I wasn't gonna think this tablet was all that great, and I walk away fairly impressed. It's a little awkward because it's it's basically like a 16:9 aspect ratio. It's huge display, but that all lends to the idea of this tablet, being a great media device. The performance is pretty good. You can multitask on this. You can use an S Pen to sign contracts or color or teach your kid the alphabet if you wanted to by you just writing out letters and having them write it as well. So you can do some fun stuff with this. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. And the price is a little high, I feel like, for what I was expecting. Even though you get a fairly decent tablet, I would have, at this price point, I would have liked to see definitely a better processor, if not also a better amount of RAM on this. I feel like 64 gigs of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM is pretty low. I would have loved to see at least 6, if not 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigs of storage to be the norm, especially at this price point. But it is what it is. And also it has a camera. Camera's 1080p video on both. I'll show you a couple of photos and videos that I did with the back and the front cameras. You should see how ridiculous this looks. This is a 12.4 inch tablet and I'm holding it up like a selfie camera. It's like, you wouldn't want to do this. But if you did, this is what the front camera looks like. 1080p, no 4K, but yeah. I mean, just looking at it real quick right now, it actually doesn't look too bad. The rear camera is also 1080p, 30 frames. You cannot make it in 60 or anything, and also doesn't go up to 4K. Just 1080p, but which one do you think looks better, the front or the back? The same? Let me know. So if you want to pick it up, again, I think you'd be pretty happy with it. It's a decent tablet for pretty much whatever most people do, which is go to websites, go to social media, go to whatever, business stuff, work stuff. Here's Instagram on here. It's absolutely humongous. So if you want to zoom into that egg, you can, and it still looks pretty good, especially for Instagram. You can see the performance is pretty good too. Going into Twitter real quick. Let's go into Twitter. The other nice thing about this is it doesn't really have any bloatware on here, which is awesome. So you can hold it like this, but ultimately you can also hold, depending upon the app. Instagram you can't hold like this, but you could view your Twitter websites, all that kind of stuff like this, if you were more comfortable holding like this. And that's kind of how I'm most comfortable with this tablet, is in this kind of orientation. So just make sure you pick up a case that can stand this thing up, or a keyboard case that can stand this up, because I think you'll like it a lot better. Works great, good battery life, not a bad tablet. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys down the road. Peace.